and welcome! So in this video I'm going to be showing you how to set up a planter box with some good tips. But firstly, let's attach this Epipremnum aureum, otherwise known as golden pothos, to the legs of my planter box. I've had this plant for a year now, and it is literally taking over my living room, so I'm trying to train it to be pretty, because I don't want to trim it. So let's start with caring for the planter box itself. So I'm starting off with taking this adorable tiny brush and brushing all of the dust and little particles that's falling into the box over the time it was empty. Then I'm going to place in a saucer and what is actually like a cake tin. That's just to protect the box itself from any stray water particles. Now, on to the fun stuff, the plants. So firstly, you have to think about the color considerations. I am putting this planter box next to a northeast facing window, so it gets some direct sunlight in the evenings, but it mostly is in shade. So I'm putting some low to moderate light plants in this box. So, on to composition. Let's make it lopsided. So, put the tallest plant slightly off-center, and this allows for the box to kind of conform to the rule of thirds and be slightly more attractive than if you put it directly in the center. So the planter box itself has quite a brutalist shape, and I want to soften it by putting plants that cascade down. So for this, I'm putting in a Philodendron Brasil. So it's cascading down nicely, and that is breaking up the shape. The next thing to consider is contrast. So the Philodendron Brasil has really nice heart-shaped leaves, and I'm contrasting this by putting in this plant pot that I've just kind of stuck cuttings in. It has some Rhipsalis Heidelberg, which has a really nice, thin, noodly appearance, which contrasts to the fleshy shape of the heartleaf philodendron, and also has a Hoya bella in it, which has small leaves, which again is contrasting to the large leaves of the philodendron. The next thing to consider is colour. So far we've had really complementary colours in greens and in yellows, but we're going to have a contrasting colour of red. So this is where my Maranta comes in. This brings in a lot of contrast with not only different shaped leaves, but also a contrast of colour. I want the colour to mostly sing out through the plant itself. So I have primarily kept the pots dark to blend in with the planter box. All of the plants are in their individual pots, and I'm doing that because they all have slightly different desires for water and fertilization. If you have plants that need higher humidity, grouping them together means that when the leaves transpire, which basically means water evaporating from the leaves, when this happens, the water vapor arises the humidity of the surrounding area. So if you have a few plants grouped together, this can be quite helpful. And right on cue, this Maranta has such pretty little flowers coming out. Thank you so much for watching. If this has inspired you to create your own indoor planter box, please comment below the plants you would like to put in yours. And as always, I hope you and your plants grow well.